we're going to create our first animation. It's going to be a bouncing ball. It's one of the most classic animation exercises that new animators do. The first thing you'll want to do is see if you've already gone to do File and New Scene so that you've got a new scene to work with. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to set where we're going to keep our project. So go to File and then Project Window. Okay, there's going to be a current project field right here. We're going to click and put New. So it's going to make us a new project. It gives us the default name of new project, but we're going to call this bouncing ball or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to put chapter 2 because that goes along with the book. You're also going to want to see where it's saving, and if it's in the Maya projects document directory, that should be fine. Okay, if you wanted to send it to a different directory where you'd know where it was, you could change it here. Okay, and then pick Accept. Okay, we want to make sure that we have 24 frames in this workspace, and right now it's set at 200. So I'm going to go down here and just type 24 in the box instead, and that's going to set it to 24. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to change our layout. So we're going to click in our workspace, hit the space bar, and that gives us our 4-view layout. We're going to pick the front view as the active one, so we just click on that and then hit the space bar again. Okay. Then we're going to go into this menu here and we're going to pick View and then Camera Settings, and then we're going to pick Resolution Gate. Let's see if I can get this on here. Okay. And that's just going to kind of show that anything within that rectangle would be in the final render. Okay. One thing we're going to do is we're going to move this black line here to the bottom. So we're going to hit either your Option or your Alt key and your middle mouse button, and you should be able to drag that down so that this is going to be like our floor for the bouncing ball. Okay. All right. We're going to go ahead and create our ball. We will go up to Create, pick Polygon Primitives. Make sure that this interactive creation is not checked. Okay, so if it was checked, go ahead and uncheck it. Okay, and then we're going to pick Sphere, and then we're going to pick this little box across from it. Okay, that gives us some settings that we can change. We're going to set the radius at 2.5. So just type that in the box. Okay, and then pick Create. Okay, now if we hit 5 on our keyboard, that will put the shading on. Okay? All right, this would be a good time to save your scene. You should always save frequently while you work, and sometimes you might want to save with different numbers after your file name so that if you screw something up, you can just go back to the previous file and you'll have a working file instead of having to start over from scratch. Okay, first thing we're going to do now is we're going to click on our Move tool. And we are going to click on our sphere. Okay, and we are going to make sure that we are on frame 1, which we are. And then we're going to drag our ball using this green handle here all the way up to the top of our screen. Okay, and that's where it's going to start for the drop. Okay, if you hit S on your keyboard, that should set a keyframe. And you can tell it's set by the fact that there's a little red line here, and then also these settings here turned red. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're going to go to frame 24, and you're going to set a keyframe there. We're basically setting that our ball's going to be at this position at the beginning and the end. Okay? All right, now we're going to go somewhere in the middle, which is frame 13. So we'll click on that. And then we're going to, with our Move tool still selected, we're going to move our ball down to the thick line that I said was going to be our floor. Okay? You're going to set another key there by hitting S on your keyboard. And it'd be a good time to save it, but I'm not going to right now. Now to see what it does so far, you can hit this play button here. And there we go. We've got a nice bouncing ball going up and down. So our ball is bouncing, but it doesn't look very natural. So we're going to make some changes to it to see if it will obey the laws of physics a little bit better. So to stop the playback, just hit the escape key. Mine doesn't want to do it because of the screen recording software. Okay, so we hit escape, and then we're going to make sure our ball is selected. And also make sure that your move tool is still selected. You're going to go up here to Windows, Animation Editor, Graph Editor. Okay, you're going to make sure that this P-Sphere 1, which is our ball object, is selected. And if you hit A on the keyboard, it will fit so everything is in the window. Okay, you can make your window bigger or smaller if you need to. Click Translate Y on the left-hand side, and then you can hit A again if it needs to fit. Okay, the first thing you're going to do is we're going to select the keys that we made on frame 1 and frame 24. And the way we're going to do that is we are going to drag a box around them like this. That selects them and then shows our tangents. These should be horizontal like they are here. Okay, if they were not horizontal for some reason, you would want to go here. I think I have to figure out which one it is. I think it's this one right here where it says Auto Tangents. They recently changed all these buttons in 2016. So if they weren't horizontal, you would click that and that would make them horizontal. Okay. Now, the next change we're going to make is to frame 13. So we're going to draw a box around that point and that will select it. This time we're going to break the tangents, and that's this little button here. It kind of looks like a V. If you hover over these buttons, they will show you what they are and what they do. Okay, so I'll pick break tangents, and that will split them so that these two handles down here can be moved independently of each other. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and pick this one, and you're going to use your, there we go. You're going to use your middle mouse button to move that. So I drew a box around it, and then I picked my middle mouse button to move it, and we're just going to kind of straighten that curve up. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to draw a box to select it. I'm going to pick my middle mouse button, and I'm going to move that to straighten that one up. Okay? It's a little bit of a trick there. If they do not move for some reason, make sure that your move tool is selected back in your workspace. And if you don't get it to work the first time, try it again. Click out, do the steps again. Make sure you draw a box around these points. And then again, you are pressing down on the wheel on your mouse or your middle mouse button to actually move those. Kind of drag them. Okay. Now we can close our graph editor. Okay, and this would be a good time to save our scene. Okay, and I believe, let's see, we called this bouncing ball, I think. Okay. All right, and it has a student version warning. Okay, if you hit this again, you can see it's bouncing a little bit more naturally. But the ball is not changing shape at all as it bounces, so we want to add a little bit of squash and stretch to it. Okay, the first thing that we're going to do is add some squash so that it kind of deforms when it hits our imaginary ground. So I'll hit escape to make it quit going up and down. Make sure that the ball is selected. We're going to go to frame 12. And we are going to hit Shift R, which is going to set keys just for the scale of the ball. So we'll hit Shift and R on the keyboard. Then we'll go to 14 and we'll hit Shift R again. And that will set the same setting there. Then we'll go back to frame 13 and we're going to put some different settings in there. So we're on 13. We're going to go over to our channel box here, and we're going to change some of these settings. We're going to change the scale settings. So you're going to go down here where it says scale. We're going to change the first one to 1.125. and scale Y will be 0.75, and scale Z will be 1.125. Okay, you just hit enter and then hit the Shift R again to set those. And then we want to make sure that we have the move tool selected here. And you see it's squashed, but it's squashing before it hits the ground. So we want to move it down so that it's squashing on our imaginary floor. Okay, and we're going to hit Shift W to save that setting for the move setting. And this would be a good time just to hit save. And mine always comes up with the student version warning. And now let's play it and see what it looks like. Okay, as you can see, it is deforming as it hits our imaginary ground. Okay, now we have our ball squashing as it hits the ground, and we're going to add some stretch settings to it. So we are going to hit escape to quit our playback, and again that messes up my screen recording here, so let me try to get that. Okay, there we go. Alright, now on frame 7, so we're going to be on frame 7, and we're going to make sure that we have the ball selected. When I hit that escape to get the screen recording software off, it unselected. So we want to make sure it's selected, make sure we're on frame 7. We're going to hit Shift R to set our scale key. We're going to go to frame 18 and hit it again. And then we're going to go to frame 12, and we're going to set our scale to 0.9 on the X, 1.2 on the Y, and 0.9 on the Z. Okay, we're going to hit enter, going to hit Shift R on your keyboard. Okay, it says if your ball happened to be down below this line, you would go ahead and move it up here and then hit Shift W, but mine's sitting right on there, so we're okay. Then we're going to go to frame 14, and we are going to set the very same values that we just did. So we are going to change our scale back to 0.9, and then 1.2, and then 0.9 again on the Z. And then hit Shift R. Okay, as you can see, mine is a little bit above the line, so well, actually, if it's, as long as it's, I think it's okay if it's above. If it's below, you want to go ahead and move it up. Okay, this is a good time to save. And now let's see how it looks. Okay, definitely looks a whole lot better with the squash and stretch. Okay, we're going to go ahead and hit escape, or you can hit stop here to stop the playback. We're going to click on the window so that we have deselected our ball. Okay, and we're going to create a play blast. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Windows, and then we're going to pick Play Blast, and then we're going to click the little option box over here. We are going to scale at 0.50, and mine's already set, so we're good, but if yours wasn't, you would change it right here. We want to make sure it says Save to File. So if that's not checked, go ahead and check it, and then you tell it where you want it to save to, and you can browse. And let's say I want to save it to the desktop. I could go over here and pick my desktop, and then I can make a name for it. So let's say Bouncing Ball Play Blast. You can call it anything you want. Okay, and then hit save, and then here you need to go ahead and hit Play Blast. Okay, what it does is it creates a little video of your animation, okay, and you can play it. And you can actually, if you go like back to your desktop, you should be able to open it like a video file and play it over and over and over. So let's see if we can do that with my screen recording software. Okay, here it is. Okay. All right, it looks pretty much the same on here, but on the Windows machine, it opens up with a different program and acts a little bit different. Okay. All right, so basically we have created our first animation and made a little video of it.